Good afternoon. I'm Dr. Ron Boatsberg, and I am the owner of Orange Tree Chiropractic Center and Orange Tree Pain Relief here in the city of Corona. I've been in practice since 1985. I know I don't look that old. I started when I was 10. No, I'm kidding. Anyway, the purpose of today's video is to talk about something that has really been on my heart and my mind, and I want to share with people because I think certain things need to be said, and as a healthcare practitioner, I feel that I need to say at least to my community and anybody that might watch this video. By the way, this is my first YouTube video, and I feel really silly talking to this camera, but I got to get with the times, right? This is the new media, so bear with me. Normally, you would expect me as a chiropractor to talk about neck pain and back pain and headaches. And in fact, that's my bread and butter. That's what I've been doing since 1985 and doing it very successfully and providing people with drug-free, natural solutions to chronic problems that they have suffered with for years. And I guess one disturbing trend, and maybe I'll talk about it in another video, is the huge increase in use and abuse of opiates, drugs, and painkillers. It's just out of control. It's just getting all too commonplace to walk into the doctor's office and be giving something that has absolutely no potential for any long-term resolution of anything other than to create addiction and more and serious health problems, believe me. And all you have to do is go online and know that that's true. It's a huge, huge problem. And you know, truthfully, the reason why I'm here today to talk to you, because I'm disturbed at the trends of health in the American population. I'm disturbed about a lot of things in this country. I'm not going to talk about it here. It's not appropriate. But I'm disturbed at the down-dumbing of the American health. And I'm not trying to criticize, but I'm saying that our consciousness of what is acceptable for ourselves is deteriorating, and so is our health. I mean, the mind leads the body. And if the mind doesn't revere health, and doesn't revere fitness, and doesn't revere an active and healthy lifestyle, then the body just responds accordingly. I mean, it has no choice. So somehow the consciousness of the American people now has changed and has accepted ill health, overweight, inactivity, obesity, and chronic disease as the new normal. I mean, if you don't believe me, if you think I'm lecturing to you, just look around. I mean, look, 70% of the population of this country is overweight and obese. Does that not disturb you? It used to be that being overweight and obese was kind of an oddity. And when you went somewhere, you saw something like that, you said, my word, look at that big person, you know. They don't fit well in the chair, or I don't want to sit next to them in the airline seat. And now it's normal. Now, I feel very self-conscious. Not really, I'm kidding. In a way, I'm the new minority. Oh, not because of my age and my color, although we could talk about that. No, that's silly. But because I'm a normal weight person, and I'm 64. My goodness. And my wife, my beautiful wife, I love her, is 64, and she has normal weight. And when we walk into a restaurant, it's kind of funny that we're one of the few people who are not overweight or obese. And yet, really, for us to have maintained this weight, it's not all that difficult. It hasn't been really hard and arduous. It's just something that we create in our mind that we will not allow ourselves to become overweight or obese. You know, it's not acceptable to be that way. And you need to have that consciousness as well. But if you want to go ahead and be let's say, a victim to your situation, then there's going to be consequences, and they're not good. And even though maybe you're in your 30s or 40s or 50s, you haven't had to deal with too many of them, your body can't handle it forever, because our bodies were not designed to handle foods of such poor quality, poor nutrition, and so many calories in such a sedentary lifestyle. All this excessive calories are being stored in our fat cells because the body doesn't know what else to do with it. Now, what current research has found It's not just storage. The fat is not just storage. The fat is metabolically active. Yeah. See, we've created a machine, and that metabolically active fat cells are communicating with the rest of our body. They're talking to each other. They're not just asleep, okay? Now that's critical, because as the rate of obesity and overweight has increased, so has cancer, diabetes, autoimmune problems, thyroid problems, I said diabetes, heart disease, all these problems are skyrocketing. Now, we are throwing more money at our health care than ever. People are taking more prescription drugs than ever, 12.9 prescriptions filled per year for people under 65, and double that amount for people over 65, and yet our health is deteriorating. They say that our lifespan is increasing, and I question that. And even if it is, it might be because our lifespan is being propped up by emergency medical care as well as drugs. So, but what's the quality of that life, huh? What's the quality of the life that you want for your future? And if you're a mother or a father, what quality of life do you want for your children? Because you're setting the example. And if you're gonna bring junk home, your kids are gonna eat junk. And you're going to be not only two fat adults, but a fat family. And I think that's sad, because 40% of all children now are overweight and obese. Is that not shocking? I just measured my body fat. It's 13.5%. Now, I don't mean to be bragging. No, the point is it's normal. That's what should be normal, not what we're accepting now. And part of the problem is we see on media people who are on TV, people that are peer leaders are overweight, obese, and unhealthy in general. I'm sorry, but the two political candidates that we are now posed to elect, I don't know, to me, neither one of them look all that healthy. They certainly aren't role models for me. So I'll stop there, or I'll get in trouble. Anyway, what I care is about the health of this country. I've heard so many complaints about Obamacare and et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Hey, I don't care about Obamacare. What that's all about is looking for different ways to pay for a very serious problem. It does nothing to deal with the problem. There's no national agenda to deal with the health crisis in this country. When was the last time you saw a legitimate ad that discussed good nutrition? I'm talking about our government-sponsored ad or whatever that promoted good nutrition, healthy lifestyle, dietary changes. Now, we have some medical groups that are promoting getting physicals, mammograms, paps, things early. Nothing wrong with that. Nothing wrong with that. But that's early detection of disease. That is not disease prevention. And America has got it really wrong when they think that if they go in for a lab test, that's going to prevent anything. It doesn't prevent anything. It just tells you when you're really screwed up. I mean, you got to, and I'm sorry, I know that's not professional, but I'm talking to you as a friend. You got to be really screwed up sometimes to have lab tests off either end of the spectrum. Because you're somewhere in the middle doesn't make you healthy. Being within normal range has got nothing to do with being in optimal range for your health, your sex, your race, etc. We can talk about that later. So we've been kind of fooled. And then when we have fallen off the edge, either too high or too low, then we turn to drugs to try to artificially prop us up back into some kind of normal range, but it doesn't do that. Drugs, pharmaceuticals, don't create health. They never have and they never will. So the next new miracle drug, whatever it's supposed to be, will just deal with symptoms. Maybe it will do a better job of dealing with symptoms, but it will do nothing to cure or fix the problem. I promise you. And it hasn't. Or if it had, we wouldn't continue to increase our health expenditures. See, it's a broken system. That's the problem. Now, we have certain politicians who, in fact, all of them want to create a better America. But here's the deal. It's got to start with you and I. No, we want to create a better health. We cannot rely on the healthcare system. We can't rely on the pharmaceutical system. And we certainly can't rely on the government, because they're all tied together, and one pays for the other, one scratches each other's back, and it's a lot of money. In fact, I was shocked to find out that the American Academy of Family Physicians are supported by and paid for by PepsiCo and Coca-Cola, as well as other big pharma industries who have an interest in promoting junk food. So there you go. I'm not trying to rail against the medical doctor. Please, that's not where I'm at. It's just what it is. And so, you know, I don't have all the answers, but what I'm trying to say to you is, when you push your cart into the store, be aware of what you're putting in that cart. You know, I mean, really look at it. Is that healthy? Because if you put it in your cart and you take it home, you're going to eat it, and so is your family. And so let's start putting more things of color, beautiful color, green, purple, blue, orange, natural things in that cart. And let's put less of the packaged things that come in a box, especially the one of the worst offenders that comes in a bottle, which is sugar water, called, you know, soda. Let's start eating less of that. Because I can't believe it. And you know, the lady today at the store was back of me, she had some broccoli. She was a big lady, but she did have some broccoli, but she had Captain Crunch, you know, and pizza, and you know, stuff not that didn't look too healthy. And the lady in front of me was really big too. I was kind of boxed in, and she had white bread, hamburger buns, and she had a bag of fried pig rinds, whatever. Oh God, you know, and so, you know, they both look like what they ate. And so I'm sorry, but I don't mean to, I'm not trying to be critical or cynical. You know, but people are starting to eat based on their tastes, not on their health. And when you start to eat based on your tastes, sometimes the bad foods really taste good, and the good foods really taste bad. Ask children who've never had vegetables in their life or healthy fruit. They don't like it. They won't eat it. You know, look at the lunch programs in the school. They wouldn't eat it because they've never had it. And that's sad, because a lot of obesity is due to undernutrition. And when you don't feed your body right, the balanced diet that's rich in vitamins, minerals, and other nutrients, then you start to have cravings, because your body wants to fulfill those needs, and then you overeat. See, if you eat a good balanced diet with good vegetables and minerals and the things that your body needs, then you don't overeat. And when you eat mineral and vitamin deficient foods, because your body needs those to process and metabolize those things, then it takes it out of the body, and you become even more mineral and more vitamin deficiency, and then you crave more of naturally and normally the wrong foods. And one of the things that excessive inflammation in the body, which we'll talk about in future videos, causes, as well as mineral and vitamin deficiencies, and it's a complicated subject, is it causes neurotransmitter imbalances, which cause even more cravings, but leads to a lot of depression and anxiety, which leads to more psychotropic and psychological drugs for anxiety and depression. You see what a vicious cycle we've got ourselves on, and we've got to get off, and we've got to start changing some habits. So I'm encouraging you today, when you go to the restaurant, when you go to the store, then you start making some better decisions. Okay, let's start with there, and I'll be back with you later.